Hi and welcome back to Yoga Berry. I'm Christine Jareggi-Berry. I'm a yoga teacher and I specialize in yoga for scoliosis. So today I've got a little video for you, which is actually part of a much bigger video. It's part of my 4 weeks online course, Yoga for Scoliosis, for anyone who wants to dive a little bit deeper. And this video it's from one of the practice videos, and it's all about core strength, which is so important for good posture. So you will need a yoga block for this practice. So if you get everything ready, and then join me on the mat. Hold of your block, and we're going to bring the block in between the thighs and the knees, just supporting the thighs and the knees, and the feet should be about the same width as your block, so whatever you're using. And you could use quite a big, it would have to be quite a thick cushion as well, it's something to press inwards to. So if it's too thin, it doesn't quite work, but if it's a little bit of a thicker one, then it will work as well. Good. So let's start to bring the awareness to the inner thighs. So on your next exhale, can you gently squeezing the block with the inner thighs? And on the inhale, to release without dropping the block. So on your exhale, squeezing the inner thighs into the block. And on the inhale, release without dropping the block. So we're kind of coordinating the breath and the movement, and just notice, just by squeezing the legs, is anything else in your body tightening? How about the shoulders and the neck? Now they don't have anything to do with this movement, so can we ask them to stay relaxed, especially the neck? And if this isn't comfortable for you, lying on the back like this, support your head a little bit. So maybe have like one layer of blanket underneath the head. We want to make sure that the upper body really stays as relaxed as possible, because that's usually the kind of number one complaint, is when we work on core exercises, that the neck starts to take over. Good. So we're going to do this with counting now, counting of the breath. So we're going to exhale, squeeze the block for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then inhale to release, count to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, without actually dropping the block. So on your exhale, squeezing the block, 1, 2, 3, 4, and inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, to release. So just continuing in your own time with your own breath, and just start to notice what's happening in the abdominal area. So there's not that much that you actually have to do consciously. You might feel how the abdominal muscles start to do a little bit of work. And if you don't feel it, bring the hands kind of to the inside of the hip bones and notice how these muscles start to pop up. And these are the transverse abdominal muscles. So they kind of wrap around the body, like the lower body, like a corset. So again, moving with your breath. It's more of an internal movement, but there is a lot happening here. And if you can't quite feel it, then can you imagine the hip bones kind of moving closer together on the exhale? So you're squeezing from the outside in, and on the inhale to release. So as if you're kind of squeezing the outer hips together. I like this visualization of those hip bones, so the bones that are sticking out here at the front, kind of slowly kind of moving together when you exhale. Good. So let's do one more of these. And then let's release and just put the block to the side. So that's going to be your practice for this week, just to kind of wake up those core muscles. And they are the very deep layers. They are not the outer abdominal muscles, which don't actually help very much for stabilizing the spine. Good. So just before we come into a tabletop position and we before we kind of start to work a little bit stronger, just notice that curve in your lower back. So there will be probably a part of your lower back that isn't in complete contact with the floor. And if it is quite flat, and if you feel no gap at all, then just tilt your pelvis forwards and backwards a little bit until you find a tiny little bit of space at least, and just see how this feels. So this is our neutral position here, and we're going to kind of squeeze the abdominal muscles before we're going to lift the legs. And imagine you're squeezing the inner thighs into the block, and just lift one leg up, bringing the knee directly over the hips. So we're creating this right angle. We're going to flex the foot, and then we're slowly going to release the leg down. So just notice how the whole of the right side of the abdominal areas had to do the job. Let's do the other side. So lifting the left foot, so creating this right angle with the leg. Draw the toes towards you, and then slowly release. Good. We're going to bring both legs up now into this tabletop position. Now this is a lot of work. You will probably feel this in your abdominal area. Now if you feel this pulling in your lower back too much, then bring the knees a little bit further in towards you. So we're trying to keep the knees on top of the hips, but if that causes any problems in your lower back, then do bring the legs a little bit closer in towards you. So we're just simply holding this now, drawing the toes towards you. And can you consciously relax your upper body again? Relax your neck, your shoulders. Just softening the whole of the upper body. Okay, let's take one more long breath here. And then let's slowly release the legs. Good. So this might be enough for you right at this moment. And maybe you're just working on that before you take it any further. Notice how your neck responds to this. So if there's any tension in the neck, maybe you need to adjust the position of the head. Maybe you have to have a cushion or something underneath the head to make it more relaxed. Otherwise, we're gonna kind of crank it up a little bit for the next part. So we're coming back to that tabletop position. And then we're going to go into our heel taps. So we're going to lower one heel down towards the ground. Just tap the heel on the floor. And then inhale to bring it back up. So exhaling, we're lowering the other heel down to the ground. And then inhale to bring it back up. Now this is quite hard work. It doesn't look like very much. If you're just watching it, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? But if you are doing it, you're probably experiencing how this is quite a lot of work. So you might literally be doing 2 and then bring the knees in towards the chest, rocking from side to side a few times to release. I'd rather that you do only a few, but you do them really properly, precisely, rather than doing 10 really bad ones. And bad ones would be if the pelvis starts to kind of rock backwards and forwards when you're doing this. So you could do this with very little awareness and just kind of tap the heel, maybe if you're doing it quick, and that is literally just the hip flexors doing the job. So that's not what we want to do. We want the abdominal muscles to do the job. So let's try it again. So on the exhale, slowly lowering the heel down. Inhale to bring it back up. Other side. Exhale, lowering it down. Inhale to bring it back up. Good. So let's keep going. Let's see how many we can do. And obviously, if you need to take a break, then bring the knees in towards the chest. Good. So I'm on my round 3 now, and I feel the work. I feel how my lower back kind of wants to get involved a little bit more. So I know that I'm only going to do 2 more, and that will be it for me. So I want you to really kind of pay attention what your body has to say to this. When is it time to stop? And if you don't feel a lot, if you're like, wow, this is really easy, I can do hundreds of them, then slow it down. So make it really, really slow and really precise. It's probably that you're doing it too quickly. Good. So just bring the knees in towards you, rocking from side to side. And then we're slowly going to make our way into all fours. So rolling yourself over to the side and then pushing yourself up into sitting and coming into all fours when you're ready.